Hello and welcome, Hearthstonians. It has been a while, but I am back and I have a new shiny Goblin versus Gnomes front screen, which has taken me forever to make, but we won't get into that. Basically, new series. I know I always do these new series, but I had an amazing idea today about just the state of the meta. I've been back for a couple of weeks. In fact, let me take the image away. Let me see my beautiful face. Hello, people. So yeah, I've been back for a couple of weeks. Played some Hearthstone. Played some ladder. Been very frustrated. So I thought I'd give you an account of what I'm kind of seeing. So without further ado, in fact, what I was going to show you first of all is the lovely shiny Goblin versus Gnomes board there. Real nice. I'm not going to go into the cards because everyone's seen them. You've seen the cards, you've seen the discussions, and we're not going to really know a lot about Goblins versus Gnomes really until we see them. So I'm going to show you the state of the meta now. I was going to do a big PowerPoint presentation and go through it, and I just thought that's going to take me a lot of time to do, and by the time it's done, the season's going to be over and Goblins versus Gnomes is going to be here, and the information is going to be useless to you. So here's the information. So the biggest deck in the meta at the moment is, I'm sure you've seen, is the Death Rattle Hunter. Here is my flavour of it. Now, there's lots of different nuances that you can run of this deck, and I'm going to run over some of those now. So some of these run 2 Flares, some run 2 Hunter's Mark, some of them run Snake Trap, some of them run Dark Cultist, some of them run Houndmaster. Now, what I'm going to go over, some of them run a couple of Loot Hoarders. I thought long and hard about this deck, and this is kind of what I've come to. I've tried not running Lotheb, I've tried running Lotheb, I've tried not running the Black Knight, I've tried running the Black Knight, I've tried not running Houndmaster, and what I've come to the conclusion that not running Houndmaster loses you the mirror. And because there's so many hunters in the mirror, in the ladder, sorry, you need the Houndmaster. Not running Hunter's Mark leaves you very susceptible to losing to Handlock. There's a lot of Handlocks in the mirror, in the ladder right now, which is something I'm going to go over. So we see a lot of the Hunter. This is what I would say is probably, in my opinion, the best deck that I've decided. I may change some more. I may run 2 Flares, I may run 2 Hunter's Marks, I may run 2 Bows, I may run more traps. I was running 4 traps, but I was running all 4 traps to really confuse people. But I spoke to some professional players and they were saying that consistency is the key, and I can see what they're saying. Some people are running tracking. I'm not sure about the tracking. All I know is that Undertaker is the hugely strong card in the meta at the moment, and I am really considering putting an Owl in here, because at the moment the only way that I beat an Undertaker is by either drawing Hunter's Mark, drawing my own Undertaker first and playing first, or drawing the bow, and only running 1 bow. That's going to be problematic. Running 2 bows does feel better as well, but there's so much stuff to fit into this deck, and it's very difficult to fit it all in. Spark isn't running any Hunter's Marks, and he's running 1 Flare. But I've tried his deck in the ladder, and it just loses horribly to Handlock. So many times I've played it losing horribly to Handlock. So I feel you need at least 1 Hunter's Mark. I'm not sure if you need any more, and I know for sure you need the Houndmaster. I've tried the Dark Cultist. I took it out, but there's a version that does run that. So that's the Death Rattle Hunter. There's lots of different ways you can play this deck, and I guess you're just going to have to try it out and figure out what works for you and figure out how to play this deck. But this is the strongest deck in the meta right now, and there's going to be a lot of decks to counter this, and etc. The other Hunter deck that's around, adequately named Ebola, is a much more aggressive version, doesn't run Hunter's Marks, and you'll have seen people such as Zyzo, Blackout, I don't know if Forsen ran a version of this. Chaki, I'm sure, has run this kind of deck, and this is a much more aggressive version of the deck. There's stuff like the Jungle Panther for guaranteed damage. We've got a Leroy Jenkins in there. We've got two bows. We've got the Knife Juggler with the Haunted Creeper combo. Doesn't have any card draw. You can run a similar version to this with the Dark Cultist for the card draw and a couple of Unleash the Hounds in there. But you're gonna have to figure out what to take out for those things. You can't run everything. There's a lot of different flavors of Hunter out there right now, but it is the strong. I mean, I'm a big Hunter player. I got my Golden Hunter first, so the meta is really tough right now. So that's another flavor. So the next popular class, I guess, is the Warlock. I've been running this Death Rattle Zoo. We've got an Owl in there. We're running the Lothar, which really, really makes this deck powerful against like Druid combos. It's very good against Priests with all their spells. Can even be useful versus Hunter. The Nerubian Egg with the Abusive Sergeant combos, the Dark Iron Dwarfs. We've also got Defender of Argus. Lots of activated for the Nerubian Egg. We've got the Power Overwhelm in there. And again, we're running the Undertaker and running the combos. There's not as many combos in here, but we've got Leponome, we've got a Haunted Creeper, and we have Nerubian Egg and Harvest Golem, which are activators for the Undertaker. It's not a big part of the deck, but it's part of the deck. And the Undertaker's real strong right now, and you'll see a lot of decks running it. And the decks that don't run it counter it. So if you're not going to run Undertaker and you're not going to run that kind of aggressive deck, you need to run Silence. Or some kind of removal, early game removal for the Undertaker. So we move on from that to the handlock. Now there's a few different nuances of the handlock around, and what I found is that to beat Hunter you kind of need to run Alex Straza. Alex Straza and Jiraxxus are the ones that you're going to need to run to consistently beat Hunter. There's going to be some juggling. You're going to have to mulligan right. You're going to have to keep the Molten Giants. You're going to need stuff like the Hellfires, the Shadow Flames, board clears. You're going to need the taunts, the Belchers. You're going to need, to draw the Sunfury Protectors and the Defender of Argus. But it's very consistent versus Hunter. It's very consistent versus any classes. It's a very difficult deck to play. I'm not a very good handlock player, but it's definitely there in the meta. There's a lot of it. And I'd say, in terms of what I've seen a lot of Hunter, I've seen a lot of handlock, I've seen a lot of Zulok, and then I guess the next deck that I've seen a lot of is Control Warrior. This is a deck I've put together, but I've seen, again, different nuances. No Ooze, no Ooze. Ooze is good for all the weapons. Harrison Jones, not Harrison Jones. I've seen it with Unstable Ghouls without. I think the Unstable Ghouls are very useful versus the early game of the Hunter. You definitely need both the Acolytes in there. You definitely need the Brawl. I think a given is that you need Alex Straza, Ragnaros, Gromash. You cannot. You don't have to run Gorehowl. The 2 Death Bites and the 2 Fiery War Axes may be enough weaponry. You definitely, I think, need to run the Sludge Belcher. I've seen people running Cleave, not running Cleave. I've seen Whirlwind, I've seen not Whirlwind. You do have the activator for Gromash. You've got 2 Death Bites. And you do have the Cruel Taskmasters, but you can run Whirlwind as well if you want. So you can run a deck like this. You don't have to run your Syrup, but you can or can't. You can kind of swap that around. I think Sylvanas is a given in this deck. I think Lothar is a needed. Harrison's a 50-50 whether you want to run him or not. You have to run like the Armor Smiths, the Execute, the Shield Slams. The Shield Blocks. These are like staple cards. In this deck, and again, it's a massive part of the meta Control Warriors. So you need to know how to beat it if you're gonna get higher ranked. So I guess after these decks, Hunter, Control Warrior, Zoo, Handlock, then we kind of see we're seeing Druid. Now, most of the Druid decks that we see in the ladder right now are this type of deck. So we've got the double combo, so we've got the Savage Roar, got the Force of Nature. Now this is very similar to the Kalento version, so we run Echoing Ooze as Haunted Creepers. I've actually changed it to put 2 Wild Growths in. The version that Kalento runs doesn't run the Wild Growth, but I guess like I feel it's good. There's versions that don't run these cheaper minions with the Wild Growths. They run like more expensive minions, and then we've got like the pure ramp version of this where there's a lot of taunts in there, very old school. I see that a little bit, not that often, and again Druid I don't see it that much. We then go to the Miracle Rogue. So this is the hipster Miracle Rogue. So we've got the South Sea deckhand. I've got double conceal. You can run 2 conceals, you can run 1 conceal, 1 blade flurry, 2 sometimes 2 shivs, sometimes 2 fan of knives, sometimes assassin blade, sometimes not. I've seen someone run a version quite similar to this. So we got 2. Let's get rid of this filter. So we got 2 shivs like this. Got 2 azures, and we have the Violet Teacher in there. So this was the number 1 legend deck. So he's using the South Sea deckhand just to proc traps. He's using board control for the rest. We got a lot of card draw with Fan of Knives, Shivs, Gadgizans, Azure Drakes. Also nice body on the Azure Drakes. Oh, I think he runs Lotheb as well, so I'm not sure what he takes out for that. Possibly one of these Shivs. I think he runs Lotheb. I'm not sure. You can run Lotheb in Miracle. It's very legitimate. We've also, as well as this version, we have the other version with Malygos, which I see quite a bit as well. So we've got the version with Malygos, and the version with Malygos generally just runs 1 conceal. It can run no conceals, and we have the Sinister Strike in there. Sometimes 1, maybe 2 Azure Drakes in there for the card draw. Thalnos for sure. But you're going to run something very similar to this. You can run 2 Blade Flurries if that's your kind of thing. And again, it's all down to personal preference. What works for you? How you want the deck to work for yourself. So that's Miracle Rogue and the different nuances that we have of Miracle Rogue. So after that, I'm seeing quite a lot of Priest, and the Priest decks that I'm seeing are very similar to this one. So we got the 1 Silence in there, we've got the Circle, maybe Holy Smite, maybe not. We've definitely got Powered Shield, Northshire Cleric, Pyromancers, Shadow Word Death, Thought Steals, Dark Cultist. We have the Injured Blade Masters, Shadow Masters you can take or not take. Always 2 Soul Priests, 2 Holy Novas, 2 Belchers, 2 Holy Fires. Cabal can take or not. Always Sylvanas, and generally most of them run a Mind Control now. And this is a very anti-Hunter deck. Gotta be good at this deck. You gotta know your Priest. But yeah, there's a lot of Priest around. Not the most popular, but it's around. And then I'm seeing some Paladins. This is just the Nax version of the Shockadin. I've tried this deck, not had the best results in the world, but I understand its concept and it's pretty cool. Let me just run through another Paladin deck. Do we have time to pull this Paladin in? I don't have, but there's control versions of these decks with like Lay on Hands, Tyrion, etc. Stampeding Kodo, the Humility, the Aldor, but there's shades in there as well. These aren't as common, but they're around. And then just quickly close out with Shaman. So not seeing a whole lot of Shaman, but it is there. I'm not really going to touch on Mage because it's just not around, but here we have Kalento's number 1 deck. Okay, and I've got a cool little app. I will link it in the video description. But this app basically fills your deck sphere. It's not fully working on all of the cards when they're golden versions. But this is the deck he was running. He was minus the Dark Iron Dwarf and plus the Doom Hammer. So this is the deck that Kalento used to number 1. I haven't used this deck yet. I haven't seen a lot of it. I'm gonna check it out. Report back if it's good. I might do a deck spotlight on it. But you know, he's got the basics: lightning storms, no lightning bolts. Got the rock biters. We got Alakir for the finisher. Doom Hammer finish. Got the early board control: Hornet Creep and Nerubian Egg, Flame Tongue, etc. We got the removal of Earth Shocks, Hexes. Looks interesting. Gonna check it out. I'm not the best Shaman player in the world, and again, you're not going to see a lot of Shaman. So let me just quick recap. So you're going to see a lot of Hunters. Then we're going to see the 2 Warlock decks, Warrior, little bit of Druid in there, little bit of Rogue, a little bit of Paladin, a little bit of Shaman, and a Sprite Ring of Mage. And there is like the aggro Mage with some secrets, and there's also a little bit of Freeze Mage banging around there. But I tried some Freeze Mage and not really working in the meta at the moment. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.